We're handed the pill before we're handed answers. When it comes to medical mistrust and reproductive autonomy, many Black women feel pressured into contraception without full informed consent. And some providers, they push hormonal methods without discussing side effects or alternatives.
429 with Aliyah Shari.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 429, where we honor the truth in your story and the softness in your becoming. I am your host, the one and only Aliyah Shari. Based on the title of today's episode, I'm sure you all can tell we are about to get into some things. If you are a male, I don't want you to shy away, especially if you have a woman in your life, whether it's your mom, your wife, your sister, your niece. It's important for you to be knowledgeable on this topic as well, so stay tuned. For many Black women, the OBGYN experience isn't just clinical, it is emotional, historical, and often traumatic. Today, we're unpacking what it means to be prescribed birth control as a quick fix rather than truly being seen. To start off, I'm going to share my journey, my OBGYN journey with you all. This was actually suggested by my mom a few episodes back in the comment section. So I put it in the back of my mind, like, yeah, this is something I want to cover. I just wasn't exactly sure how to go about it. But yeah, we're going to start off with my story, and then I'm going to share some tips along the way. So stay tuned. I first started taking birth control when I was in high school. I was 16, and I started going to the OBGYN because my periods were so long. I think the longest period I've had was 18 days. So not only were my periods super long, but they were super heavy. Like once they started, it just flowed until the last day. And the pain was so severe. So I knew my period was coming because it was the same cadence every time. So there would be cramps and it could be below zero outside, but I would get so hot. And I would have to come out of, like, wherever I'm at, I would have to come out of my clothes because I'm so hot. I'm sweating. I feel like I'm about to pass out. So I have to sit down or lay down. And I threw everything up in my system. So even if I didn't have nothing to eat, it was just whatever was in my system from the night before. Or sometimes I would have just eaten breakfast or had lunch. And then that spell, the cadence happens. And I'm getting hot, I'm having all this, and I threw up. And it was so bad to the point where I was missing school. There was a time where my aunt had to come pick me up. We had a class trip at the end of the school year in high school. We went to Cedar Point, which is an amusement park here in Ohio. And I missed the trip because on our way to the bus, I was stopping to get breakfast and I was good. But then the spell came and I got hot coming out my clothes, and I was like, just take me home. Soon as my sister pulled up, I threw up in the driveway. Like it was like that every time. The regular pain medicine like Pamprin and Midol and even the extra strength, it would not work, and I couldn't keep it down because I would just throw it back up. So my sister at the time had her wisdom teeth pulled, and so I know I wasn't supposed to be taking them pills, but Vicodin was the only thing that eased the pain. It would literally just knock me out. And I remember one time during my cycle, I had took some Vicodin and I woke up. I just remember raising up in my bed and my head was just like literally like spinning, and I just lay back down, and it would just knock me out. I wouldn't feel the pain. I would get up, it would be okay for a minute, and then the pain would start. So I said all that to say that is why I think it was my aunt that recommended it's a Black doctor in Michigan. I believe she's still there. Dr. Scott, she is one of the best. I started seeing Dr. Scott when I was 16. So I told her, my mom and I explained to her everything that was going on. So her suggestion was birth control. Because she is a Black woman doctor, I trusted her because they, ran some tests and stuff and they couldn't find anything. So that's how I got started on birth control. So after I got on birth control, my cycles were pretty normal once I was regulated. It's about 8 days, which was cool for me because, like I said, I was used to being on my cycle for 2 weeks or more. So I was fine with the week in a day. My cramps, were still bad, but they weren't severe to the point where I was missing school. Like I would just take some pampering and stuff, and it would work. So after 10 years, this was recently. This was when I was 26, and I still had the same OBGYN, but I was preparing for my move back to Ohio. And I was telling her, I'm like, I've been on birth control 10 years. I think I'm about ready to, I've been coming to you since I was 16. I think I'm ready to stop taking these birth control pills. And she said, baby girl, I wouldn't recommend that. I said, well, okay, I'm going to listen to you. So I got here to Ohio, and I was just so annoyed because I felt like my periods weren't regulated. But I'm tired of birth control.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad!
So against her orders, the black woman, you see what my shirt say, right? Yeah, so against her orders, I stopped taking it. And I was no longer seeing her anyway because I had moved here. But I stopped taking them. Everything was good for about that first year. Periods was regular. Pain was mild. I said, oh, Lord, thank you, Jesus. I'm not going through what I was going through before. Thank you. When that year mark hit, I kid you not, I was in a work meeting with one of my clients. And I felt like I was back in high school. The heat wave came over me. I'm sitting down. The heat wave came over me. My hearing went, they're talking, but I can't hear nothing they're saying. It's just like, oh, and my ears just start ringing, and I start sweating profusely. So I had to turn my camera off. And they're like, Aaliyah, you there? Hello? And thank God we were at the end of the meeting, because I was done. And I literally passed out in my office. And I'm just crying. And my colleague, who used to be my supervisor, she came and knocked on my door and ended up checking on me. Because I was laid out on the floor, just like in a fetal position. The pain was so bad. And I think she brought me some pain medicine. She was in a meeting, so she had to go back, and she said, I'll be right back to check on you. And when she came back to open the door, I was hurling in the trash can. I was throwing up my lunch. It was just terrible. So she's like, you need to go home. I'm like, yeah, I know. So I should have trusted the black woman. Trust black women. Because yes, I should have trusted the black woman when she told me not to get off my birth control, because I think that's what she was afraid of happening. And me being me, I thought, well, I've outgrown it. It's been 10 years. So I went back to my OBGYN here. There are black OBGYNs here, but a lot of them were not accepting new clients. So I found another OBGYN, a white woman. And long story short, I just kind of felt like a guinea pig. And it's not her fault. I guess it's not her fault. She was just kind of going based on what I was describing to her in my history and stuff. And so they upped the dosage of my birth control and the new birth control once I went back and got on it. And my periods were regular, no more than a week. But the side effects were crazy. I gained a lot of weight. I was eating all the time. For those of y'all who know me, that doesn't sound like anything out of the ordinary. But I was sitting there eating my dinner, thinking about what I was going to eat. Like I would eat breakfast, lunch, another snack, eat my dinner, eat a bowl of cereal, eat some ice cream. Like I would sit there and eat a whole tub of ice. Like y'all just don't know. It was crazy. The mood swings. Like it would just be days where I would sit on the side of my bed and cry, and I had no idea why I was crying. Like it was a crazy, crazy time. So I didn't like that. I went back to the doctor, the white woman, and she was like, well, your periods are regular, aren't they? I said, yes. I said, but I'm gaining weight. Like y'all weigh me every time I come here. Compare my weight from the first time I came to your office to now. And so her concern was just the fact that my periods were regular, and not the fact that I was going crazy in my mind and eating myself out of house and home. Like, I guess it sounded regular, but I just fought for myself. I said, let's just go back to the dosage that I was on, which I should have did first, or never got off of them in the first place. But it's okay. We're here now. So today I am still on my regular birth control. It's the one where you have like all the same colors. They're the same, what is it, estrogen levels, I think. So it used to be where it's like a white week, a blue week, a green week, but now it's just all the same except one week is just like sugar pills, what they call them. I like that. And I find that, of course, they tell you to take your birth control pills the same time every day, because that's where the abnormality comes in sometimes when I wasn't sticking to my schedule. So I feel like when I was complaining to my first OBGYN, the black woman, about, I said, well, my periods are regular. What's the point in being on birth control? That was my whole argument at first. But I had to make sure that I was doing my part and taking them on time, same time every day, just being strict with that. Thankfully, it's a regular appetite. And if I do ever feel like I need to snack, it's healthy stuff. It's gluten-free stuff. I'm not even gluten-free, but my sister is. So a lot of her food I try and I like it. So I go get it. Like the gluten-free Oreos, if y'all haven't tried them, they're better than the regular Oreos to me. So I eat those now. I work out a lot. I walk 3 to 4 times a week. And then another 3 times a week, I'm doing my ab and toning workouts. So I'm trying to stay in shape. And so far it's been good. I decided to start seeing a black woman OBGYN. I already had my annual pack for this year, so I'll be going to her at the beginning of next year, Lord willing. And I'm just excited to have a black woman as my OBGYN again. So I'm happy about that. So that's my journey. I know that was a little lengthy, but I wanted to just give you a preface. And I know I'm not the only one going through that. Now that I've shared my story, let's go a little deeper. So for those of you who are not aware, there are racial disparities in OBGYN care. Let me give you some facts. Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes than white women. Many black women report being dismissed, rushed, or stereotyped when expressing pain or asking questions. Studies show that black patients often feel safer and more heard when being treated by black OBGYNs. So we're not imagining it. The data backs up what our bodies have been telling us for years. Hormonal birth control is often prescribed to mask symptoms of fibroids, PCOS, endometriosis, and more. Black women are disproportionately affected by these conditions, but rarely offered full diagnostic workups. Historical trauma around reproductive coercion and sterilization still shapes our relationship with contraception. We're handed the pill before we're handed answers. When it comes to medical mistrust and reproductive autonomy, many black women feel pressured into contraception without full informed consent. And some providers, they push hormonal methods without discussing side effects or alternatives. The legacy of eugenics and population control policies still echoes in how care is delivered. Black women, it's time for us to reclaim our reproductive power. First, come prepared and stay empowered. Write down your questions for the OBGYN ahead of time, especially about birth control options, side effects, and long-term impacts. Be sure to bring a health journal or an app that tracks your symptoms, your cycles, and your concerns. This data can help validate your experience. Also, don't be afraid to bring a support person to your appointment with you, someone who can help advocate for you, or just take notes. 2, know your rights and options. Remember, you have the right to refuse or delay treatment, ask for alternatives, or request a second opinion. Ask your providers to explain things in plain language. Medical jargon can be a barrier to informed consent. And if something feels off to you, just say something like, I'd like to pause and revisit this after I've had some time to think. Next, vet your provider like you'd vet a brand. Look for OBGYNs who specialize in culturally competent care or who are a part of Black-led practices. Read reviews, ask about their experience with Black patients, and don't hesitate to switch providers if the vibe feels off, like I did. An example of a question you can ask your provider is, how do you ensure your care is inclusive and responsive to Black women's needs? Sure. Next, you want to use language that commands attention. Instead of, I think I'm experiencing, you say, I'm experiencing this, or I need clarity on this. Use phrases like, I'm concerned this isn't being taken seriously, or I want to make sure my voice is heard in this decision. And now if you're dismissed, calmly say, I'd like this documented in my chart. That often shifts the energy. And the last tip, trust your intuition. It's valid. If your body is telling you something's wrong, honor that. You don't need to prove your pain. Medical mistrust isn't paranoia, it's a response to lived history. Acknowledge it and use it to fuel your self advocacy. Early in the show, I shared my experience. Now I want to hear from you. Here are this week's listener letter journal prompts. Choose one of three, or you can answer all three and send them to me. Have you ever felt dismissed or unheard in a gynecological appointment? What did you need in that moment? Or what has birth control meant for you? Freedom? Frustration? Fear? Or something else? Or what would reproductive care look like if it truly centered Black women's bodies and voices? Feel free to send your responses to the email address linked in the description below, and I'll be sure to read them during the next episode. They will remain anonymous. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope this topic has got you all thinking. Hope it's got your wheels turning. And if there's anything specific about this topic that you want me to touch on, let me know in the comments below. And stay tuned for the next episode. Until we meet again, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. I'm Aliyah Cherie. This is 429. Thanks for watching. Bye.